the union budget. Ahead of the budget presentation, the tech industry has recommended a slew of measures that the government could implement to support the sector's innovation and growth. India's IT industry body NASSCOM has advocated for the increase or removal of the eligibility threshold for the safe harbour rules. The list of recommendations also include the creation of a dedicated deep tech fund along with a grant framework. The industry has also called for the consolidation of TDS rates and a provision to carry forward business laws. Joining me now to take this discussion forward is Ashish Agarwal, Vice President Public Policy at NASSCOM. Ashish, thank you very much for joining us. This is going to be a year of AI. Donald Trump, while speaking at Davos last week, said the United States is going to be the capital of AI and crypto. Looking at the kind of changes, looking at the kind of developments we are going to see in AI, the race between US and China, what do you think the budget can do to propel more innovation in this sector?
Thanks, Parikshit. Obviously, this is an important topic, and I would take a step back and say that it is way beyond just the budget. So, and we see that India and the government and industry, there are many elements which are already in progress in terms of taking our agenda forward. There is an AI mission of the government, which is really, truly now at a stage where we see it getting operationalized over the coming months and days. So, but strictly, focusing from a budget perspective, which is now hardly a few days away, one of the things we are saying is that there are existing initiatives of the government, like I mentioned, the AI mission. We have also announced quantum mission. Now, from a private startup perspective, and this is where NASSCOM is really focused on, is the deep tech ecosystem. So one of the ways now we have seen that over the last 5 years, this deep tech ecosystem has shown quite a bit of promise. And this is reflected by the fact that more than 500 deep tech startups have come in just about last year. And cumulative investment we have seen of $10 billion odd dollars, which have come in the last 5 odd years. So given all of this, I think one of the things that we have identified as a gap is that this ecosystem requires at a level of Series A and B, a significant amount of funding. And that's where something that government can really come in to say that, can we create a funding mechanism where a significant amount of capital can be available, and combined with the private capital, can we create in certain areas, winners which are critical for India? And now that could be in the AI space, it could be in the quantum space, blockchain, IoT, and so on and so forth. Because as we see that it is not just one thing, but a combination of technologies which create these global winners. And this could also be areas where we want to succeed at a commercial level and show India as having that strength. So we have seen a lot of action happening in bioengineering, in EV markets. So I think to kind of summarize this, what we are really saying is that we need to promote our deep tech ecosystem, and that's where the focus should be. And out of this, we are hopeful that we will also have core AI winners.
Right. You've also made a mention of making safe harbor rules more attractive, simplifying transfer pricing assessment procedures. Give us a sense of what is the ask here and what is the pain point?
So in quite a simple terms, when we look at multinational organizations, and specifically when you look at something like a global capability centers, which are really, providing solutions to their global parent organizations and so on and so forth. These transactions are essentially related party transaction. That means the transaction is between a subsidiary and a head office. So therefore, from a determining of the pricing of these transactions, you have these laws which deal with transfer pricing. Now, what we are seeing is that over the last few years, we have seen this ecosystem of GCCs really, expand and grow in India. We have about 1,700 odd GCCs who are already there, and these are part of Fortune 500 companies and so on and forth, and so on and so forth. Now, this segment can continue to grow, and this segment not only does a lot of cutting edge work and providing all kind of global services, they also are a huge employment generator. So just to give you an example, out of about 5.5 million of direct employment in the IT sector, nearly about 2 million are employed in this global capability center space. So what we're really saying is that as one of the points of uncertainty on taxation, this could be really, eased. And one way of easing this is to say that, can we make the safe harbor regime much more simpler? So just to explain, the way the tax assessment happens in this, there are three ways the tax assessment happens. One is the safe harbor, which means that if you qualify for this safe harbor scheme, you're going through a green channel. So that's like a quick, process. And then you have another mechanism, which is that you enter into an agreement with the taxation authorities, which is called an advanced pricing agreement. Now, once you do that, then you are probably set for 5 years and you understand that, okay, this is how my profit will be determined and I'll pay my taxes. So that's another thing. The last way of doing it is through regular assessment, like everybody gets their tax assessed every year and so on and so forth. So now,
Right.
thanks to the initiative of the Finance Ministry and the budget of July 2024, already the broad announcement has been made to say that, government will increase the scope of the safe harbor and as well as, ease the transfer pricing regime. Now, what we have done over the last few months is to work with the government to really focus on the implementation of that announcement. And that is what we are hoping
Right.
will come through now.
And very quickly, any issues that you are seeking intervention on ease of doing business, any areas where the IT industry needs protection because of the tariffs that Donald Trump could unleash? There is also going to be a discussion between India and US on an FTA. So any kind of demands immediately?
So from a services point of view, I think largely what we are seeing is that there is a optimism in terms of growth. That last year was a bad year in terms of overall growth. We had about less than 4% of growth. This year we are expecting it to be slightly better, and moving forward, there is optimism in terms of improvement. So from our sector point of view, I think it's really about focusing on enabling growth, ease of doing business and innovation. And we are not really looking for any kind of a specific protection in that sense, because what we are seeing is that the more we can enable some of these innovation and growth, the more we become even more part of the global supply chain, the more we become a trusted partner for the world and provide these solutions even in our domestic market. So from that point of view, we are really approaching it from an enabling perspective rather than a protectionist mode.
All right, Ashish, thank you very much for joining us with your view on what the IT industry is expecting from Union Budget. Moving on, US President